So you know the ones where you're listening to a song that you really like and you're like, that's my tune.
That's my tune.
What is good? I'm Jojo B and this is That's My Tune, the podcast providing song reviews and interviews. The song I'll be reviewing today is Beyoncé's Deja Vu, featuring Jay-Z, of course. So go get your shimmy on a little bit and I'll be right back after this. And remember, if you're listening via YouTube, the link is in the description box so you won't miss out either. Enjoy! Deja Vu is my favorite song from Beyoncé and also my favorite Bey and Jay collaboration, because you know they have like Drunk in Love and Bonnie and Clyde, but this is my favorite of those two together. The intro is my absolute favorite part for me. There's just something about how the layers build, Beyoncé calling out each instrument, and it's punctuated with Jay-Z's so it's like bass, din 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 din, din 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 din, hi-hat, 808, din 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 din. It's just, and throughout your shoulders are just moving small because you can't help it because of the groove, and the groove was produced by the one and only Rodney Jerkins, aka Darkchild. Give him a round of applause, everybody. It's just a wonderfully put together track. I mean, yeah, shout out to you, fam. Shout out to you. And here are some of the other elements of the song which I like, and yes, I'm going straight into it today. So when Beyonce is singing the verses, like there are no BVs whatsoever, which is quite different because usually when you hear a song, there's some BVs here and there, but this one, there's none. And I think it's really cool because it just allows you to focus on her singular vocal and the groove of the music. You see what I'm saying? I love that. And for me, it allows the horn section to shine. For me, like the horn section is kind of like a substitute for BVs, if that makes sense. And that leads me to my next point. I absolutely adore the horn section. Oh, it's just short and sweet and straight to the point. It accentuates different points at the right point. You know, like Salt Bae, when he just, flings the salt, you just add that. That's what the horns does for me. And like if you listen to the verse, like it's just the whole section beautifully put together, very well arranged, very, very well arranged. And I love how like there's the whole octave thing going on. There's a dash of reverb, a dash of delay on that. So just, yeah, the horn section is sweet. Moving on, the bass line. Now, I probably should have saved this bit to last, but the bass line for me carries the song. I feel like the song revolves around the bass line because you could isolate just that and you could just groove to it on its own because it has such a rhythm. So I feel like listening to it, like in Darkchild's mind, is like, okay, put the bass line down and then work around it. That makes so much sense because it works, absolutely works. The pre-chorus, I love it because of the chord progression and the BVs, like the harmonies are so lush and so sweet. And it just adds some color and some flavor. And speaking of vocals, there are a couple of things that I noted. Like when the way Beyonce approaches the first verse and the second verse, like the second verse is slightly different. She plays around with the melody a bit more, but it's not to the point where you don't recognize it or it sounds completely different to the first, and it's not overly complex. So I noticed that difference. And then like for the chorus, there are two sets of BVs, if you like. So the first set for me is like when Beyonce is singing the chorus, you have the higher and the lower octave, and that's pushed out in the mix. Whereas underneath, there's another set of BVs in harmony, and they come in and out. So there's certain words that they accentuate, but the way it's mixed, it's more like to blend in with the music as opposed to it being presented as vocals, if that makes any sense. I love that approach. It's really cool. Like Janet Jackson tends to do that kind of thing as well. So yeah, absolutely. I love that kind of thing. And the last thing I'll mention is again, this is down to the engineering. Like you have the kick drum, you have the 808, and you have the bass. Now they're all within the same frequency level, but they don't clash. And that shows how, I mean, obviously this is Beyonce. There's no way that her music would have been mixed to the highest and most precise of levels. Do you see what I'm saying? But I just love how like everything, like those three frequencies in particular, they do not clash. So they hold their own space and they sound well together, you know, because sometimes when you listen to songs and those kind of frequencies, they can clash. And I've heard some songs like that. I won't name and shame, but yeah. So that's my little analysis on Deja Vu. It's a very well put together song. It's brilliantly crafted. One for the ages for me. I don't think it will ever lose its appeal or flavor. And another thing I admire about this song is that I love how Jay-Z and Beyonce were able to flow in it. So it suited both singing and rapping. Do you see what I'm saying? I love that they were both able to shine in this track. Like neither of them were out of place. So Darkchild did an incredible job of putting a track together where, you know, a singer could sing on it and a rapper could rap on it. So yeah, that's a brilliant job. So well done, you three. Love it. Just absolutely love it. But word on road is that Beyonce is dropping a new album early next year and is rumored to be her last. Now, if this is actually true, I don't blame her and I'm not surprised. Now think about it. I mean, I was on Twitter some time back and apparently there's some people who are not aware that Beyonce was in a group before going solo. And in some ways, I mean, especially for the youngers, like it kind of makes sense because I think Beyonce's solo career has gone on longer than her time with Destiny's Child. But yeah, so if this is indeed true, that this is her last album, I don't blame her. Because she has been working hard since childhood, like, you know, Destiny's Child, you know, putting albums out, touring with them. And then in the early 2000s, her solo career kicked off. And then outside of music, she has a fashion line, Ivy Park and others. And then she's got Parkwood Entertainment and she's been touring and doing films and all that. Like, it's a lot. I mean, was it 2018 when she did Coachella? Yes, 2018 when she did Coachella. And like Homecoming came out on Netflix the following year, and you can see see how much work they put into producing that. Like it's an absolutely flawless production. So when you see how much Beyonce has put in over like well over for so long. I mean, Beyonce is 40 now. She's married, she has young children, and she probably now just wants to focus on them and just rest properly. I mean, who knows? She might decide to drop another album like 10 years from now. Who knows? But I can imagine if, again, the rumors are true, that she'll just take a step back, continue with Ivy Park and focus on Parkwood Entertainment and be a mentor. So, for example, you got Chloe and Halle and continue mentoring them. So going down the mentoring route. I mean, I was watching an interview where Chloe was talking about her album coming out soon, and how she and Beyonce would sit down and Beyonce would give her tips and stuff like that. So Beyonce isn't. I mean, of course, Chloe and Halle, they have been under a wing for many years. But you know, Beyonce at her age and with where she and with how much she's achieved in her career, she has all the wisdom and experience to pass down to the younger generation. You see what I'm saying? And I can imagine her wanting to do that more. And she just deserves to rest and enjoy her family. Of course, some people didn't take to the news well, saying that no, there's one comment I saw where Beyonce will rest when she's dead. I'm like, come on, guys, like she's human. Do you know what I mean? She's human. There's so many albums she's put out. Just enjoy those and watch Homecoming and everything else that she puts out. I mean, even on Disney, she has Black is King. That came out a couple of years ago. So she's been on her grind. Do you know what I mean? But it'll be very interesting if, again, those rumors are true. And speaking of bowing out, I mean, Tina Turner, she's 80, 81, somewhere like that. She's also sold the rights to her music catalogue along with her alias, the likeness and so on and so forth, because she's like, guys, I'm done. I mean, earlier on in the year, she dropped her documentary, if you like, was on HBO, and it was very eye-opening. And you know, at her age and at time, it's like, guys, I've done what I need to do. I'm tired. I want to rest. Do you know? So there's always that thing that as an artist, learning when and sometimes how to bow out. You know, to rest, and sometimes for letting newer talents come out and do their thing. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the rumors were true about Beyonce and then she came out with another album, like I said earlier, like maybe in 10 years time or whatever. But if she was to never drop anything else again, I'd be like, girl, you did your thing. You know, some people don't dream of being artists well into their 50s, 60s, 70s, you know, and that's okay. That's very much okay. So we'll see how that plays out. And again, with like Chloe and Halle, for example, they're doing their thing, starting out, they doing their thing on YouTube and, you know, pushing out albums and being on Grownish. And now they're doing their separate thing. Like Halle looked absolutely beautiful, celebrating, I think, Disney's 50th, somewhere along that. And she's in a Disney film, I think it's Mermaid, which will be coming out soon. And then Chloe, she dropped Have Mercy. She's doing the music thing. She's like a mini Beyonce, isn't she? So it's just interesting how music is, you know, artists bowing out whilst other artists coming through. You know, it's just, and funny enough, Beyonce and Tina Turner, they did a performance together when Beyonce was, you know, and it's just interesting how they're both kind of at similar points in their career, even at different ages. Like literally, Beyonce's literally half of Tina's age. Do you know what I mean? So it's really interesting seeing what's going on in the music industry right now. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've rambled enough. So that's me done for today. If you'd like more information about the podcast, you can find all the information on linktr.ee/TMT_podcast. If you'd like to email, is that'smydreampodcast@gmail.com. Continue listening to all the other episodes that are out there. I'll be back soon with yet another episode to entertain you. Until then, have a great day and rest of the week. Bye-bye. Bye.